Love the Eagles as much as we do? Then hit that subscribe button and stick with us at Eagles Nest News for all the drama, updates, and hype all season long. The rumors started circulating quietly, almost like a whisper carried through locker room hallways and late-night phone calls, but it quickly grew into something louder, something impossible to ignore. According to people close to the situation, DEVONTA Smith has allegedly reached a breaking point and is no longer comfortable sharing the field with Jalen Hurts. The claim is not presented as a dramatic outburst in front of cameras, but rather as a deeply personal frustration that has been building over time. Those who claim to know Smith's mindset describe a competitor who feels his role has become unpredictable, limited, and emotionally draining. The speculation suggests that Smith believes his talents are not being fully maximized, and that the chemistry everyone assumes exists between a star wide receiver and a franchise quarterback may not be as natural as fans imagine. In this rumored narrative, Smith is portrayed as someone who values precision, timing, and trust, and he allegedly feels those elements have eroded. The frustration is said to come from subtle moments, missed reads, altered routes, and plays that never quite develop as drawn. None of this is confirmed, but the idea alone has sparked intense conversation. When a player of Smith caliber is rumored to feel disconnected from the man throwing him the ball, it sends shockwaves through the fan base. This speculation paints a picture of quiet tension, professional smiles masking internal conflict, and a star receiver questioning whether his future truly aligns with the current direction of the offense. As the rumor continues to evolve, insiders suggest that this tension is less about personality clashes and more about football philosophy. DEVONTA Smith is rumored to see the game through a meticulous lens, one where anticipation and rhythm define success. The whispers claim that Smith feels the offensive identity has shifted in ways that do not always favor his skill set. In this speculative version of events, Smith allegedly believes that his route running, separation ability, and football intelligence demand a certain style of quarterback play, one that consistently rewards timing over improvisation. Meanwhile, the rumor paints Jalen Hurts as a quarterback who thrives on adaptability and instinct, often extending plays and relying on his own athleticism when reads break down. To some, that dynamic is exciting. To others, particularly a receiver who depends on precise execution, it can be frustrating. The speculation implies that Smith may feel left waiting, adjusting on the fly, and sometimes becoming an afterthought when plays dissolve into chaos. This does not suggest a lack of respect, but rather a growing realization that two elite players can view the game differently. The rumor claims that Smith's dissatisfaction is rooted in feeling that his prime years should be spent in an offense fully tailored to his strengths. Whether fair or not, this narrative frames Smith as a player wrestling with the reality that individual excellence does not always guarantee perfect harmony within a team structure. Another layer of this speculation centers on leadership and communication, elements that are rarely visible to the public but often decisive behind the scenes. According to the rumor, Smith has always respected Hurts as a leader, but respect does not always equal comfort. The alleged issue is not about shouting matches or open confrontation, but about conversations that never quite reach resolution. People close to the locker room claim that Smith feels his perspective is heard, but not always integrated. In this version of the story, meetings are professional, feedback is exchanged, yet something remains unresolved. Smith is rumored to feel that his role within the offensive hierarchy fluctuates too much, leaving him uncertain week after week. This uncertainty, according to speculation, weighs heavily on a player whose game thrives on confidence and clarity. The rumor suggests that Smith wants to know exactly where he stands, exactly how he fits, and exactly when he will be relied upon in crucial moments. When that clarity is missing, frustration can quietly grow. The narrative being whispered is one of internal conflict rather than external drama. Smith is not portrayed as a disruptive presence, but as a thoughtful competitor questioning whether his voice truly shapes the offense. In this speculative telling, the emotional distance between receiver and quarterback grows not through anger, but through unmet expectations, and unanswered questions. The speculation becomes even more intriguing when considering Smith's background and personality. Those who follow his career closely describe him as calm, composed, and intensely driven. The rumor claims that he rarely speaks impulsively, which is why the alleged statement about no longer accepting his situation carries so much weight. In this imagined scenario, Smith is not chasing headlines or creating controversy. Instead, he is said to be reaching a personal conclusion after long reflection. The whispers suggest that he feels a responsibility to his own career, to his family, and to his legacy. Playing at the highest level, according to this rumor, has made him acutely aware of how quickly windows of opportunity can close. The idea that he might be spending his best years in an environment that does not fully align with his strengths is said to trouble him deeply. This speculation frames Smith as a player who values excellence above comfort and growth above loyalty. It does not claim he dislikes his teammates or the city, but rather that he is questioning fit. The rumor paints a picture of a professional crossroads, where emotional attachment clashes with competitive ambition. Fans reading between the lines begin to wonder whether this quiet star is preparing himself mentally for a future that looks different from the present. As this rumored tension gains traction, many observers begin to reinterpret past moments through a new lens. Every missed connection, every sideline shot, every subtle gesture suddenly feels loaded with meaning. The speculation encourages fans to ask whether what once looked like normal game flow might actually have been signs of deeper issues. In this narrative, Smith's body language becomes a topic of discussion. His interviews are analyzed for hidden messages, and his silence is treated as evidence rather than neutrality. The rumors suggest that Smith may have intentionally avoided fueling speculation, choosing instead to keep his concerns private. This restraint, ironically, only adds credibility to the whispers for some observers. The idea that a player would suppress frustration rather than broadcast it aligns with Smith's reputation. According to the speculative story, the breaking point is not a single moment, but an accumulation of small disappointments. Each missed opportunity adds weight. Each unfulfilled expectation sharpens the doubt. This version of events portrays Smith as someone who has tried to adapt, to remain patient, and to trust the process. The question now, in the minds of those following the rumor, is whether patience has finally run out. The first part of this speculation ultimately leaves fans with more questions than answers. Is this rumored stance a temporary emotional reaction, or the early sign of a major shift? The narrative suggests that Smith's alleged feelings are not rooted in ego, but in a genuine belief that his potential deserves a different context. While nothing is officially confirmed, the idea alone forces a reconsideration of the perceived stability within the offense. The rumor implies that even successful teams can harbor internal dissatisfaction, and that winning does not automatically erase personal concerns. In this speculative telling, Smith stands at the center of a quiet storm, respected, admired, and yet internally conflicted. The alleged statement about no longer accepting his situation is portrayed not as a threat, but as a boundary. It suggests a player who understands his value and is no longer willing to compromise his vision of excellence. Whether this rumor fades or grows stronger, it has already achieved one thing. It has shifted the conversation from pure performance to emotional alignment, from statistics to human dynamics. And as the whispers continue, the story feels far from finished. As the rumor stretches into deeper territory, speculation begins to focus on what this alleged dissatisfaction could mean for the future. In this imagined scenario, DEVONTA Smith is not demanding immediate change, but rather preparing himself for possibilities he once avoided considering. Those close to the situation claim that Smith is quietly evaluating his options, not in a dramatic or confrontational way, but with the careful mindset of a professional who understands the business of football. The speculation suggests that he is asking himself difficult questions about longevity, fulfillment, and growth. Can he continue to thrive in an offense where his connection with the quarterback feels inconsistent? Can personal excellence coexist with strategic frustration? The rumor paints Smith as someone who believes that alignment between quarterback and receiver is not a luxury, but a necessity. In this version of events, he is not seeking blame, but clarity. The idea that he might one day welcome a new environment is framed as a logical step rather than a betrayal. Fans following this narrative begin to imagine scenarios that once seemed unthinkable, not because Smith wants to leave, but because he may feel he has outgrown the current dynamic. The rumor feeds the idea that elite players often sense change before it becomes visible, and that Smith's alleged feelings might be an early signal of an inevitable evolution. Speculation also turns toward Jalen Hurts and how he might perceive this rumored tension. In this imagined storyline, Hurts is portrayed as intensely focused, disciplined, and committed to leading his team. The rumor does not depict him as dismissive or careless, but rather as a quarterback whose style naturally prioritizes certain reads and decisions. According to the whispers, Hurts may not even be fully aware of the depth of Smith's alleged frustration. The idea that two leaders can respect each other deeply while still drifting apart strategically is central to this narrative. Observers speculate that Hurts' growth as a quarterback has followed a path shaped by adaptability and resilience, sometimes at the expense of rigid structure. For a receiver like Smith, who is rumored to crave predictability and timing, this difference could feel increasingly significant. The speculation suggests that neither player is wrong, but that their football identities may no longer be perfectly synchronized. This imagined disconnect is subtle, professional, and almost invisible to outsiders. Yet within the rumor, it carries enormous weight. Fans begin to wonder whether this is simply a phase that can be corrected through communication or a fundamental difference that time cannot easily resolve. The narrative leaves room for empathy on both sides, even as it highlights the growing distance. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The rumor further explores the emotional toll this situation may be taking on Smith. In this speculative account, he is described as someone who internalizes pressure rather than deflects it, carrying the expectations of being a top receiver while feeling misaligned with the quarterback is said to create a constant mental strain. The whispers suggest that Smith may feel torn between loyalty to the team and loyalty to himself. This internal conflict is portrayed as exhausting, especially for a player who prides himself on professionalism. According to the rumor, Smith has always believed that hard work and patience would eventually bring harmony. The possibility that effort alone may not solve everything is what allegedly unsettles him most. This narrative paints Smith as a human being first, athlete second, navigating doubts that fans rarely see. The idea that he might no longer accept the situation is framed as an act of self-preservation rather than rebellion. Speculation suggests that he wants to wake up every day feeling fully invested, fully trusted, and fully utilized. When that feeling fades, even slightly, it can shake the foundation of a competitor's identity. This imagined emotional landscape adds depth to the rumor, making it resonate beyond simple football analysis. As conversations continue, the speculation inevitably turns toward the locker room and how such a rumored stance might ripple through the team. In this imagined scenario, teammates sense the tension without fully understanding it. Smith remains professional, focused, and supportive, yet something feels different. The rumor suggests that leadership dynamics subtly shift when a key player questions his fit. This does not mean division, but awareness. Teammates may notice quieter moments, longer conversations, or a more introspective demeanor. The speculation frames Smith as someone who avoids burdening others with his concerns, choosing instead to process them internally. This restraint is seen as both admirable and concerning. Admirable because it shows maturity, concerning because unresolved feelings rarely disappear on their own. Fans following this narrative begin to speculate about whether coaches are aware, whether adjustments are being considered, or whether everyone is waiting for clarity that has yet to arrive. The rumor thrives in this uncertainty, feeding on the silence and the lack of definitive answers. It creates a sense that something important is happening beneath the surface, something that could reshape relationships if left unaddressed. This imagined ripple effect adds urgency to the story, even without any official confirmation. The speculation also invites broader reflection on the nature of modern professional football. In this rumored context, Smith's alleged stance is not seen as an isolated incident, but as part of a larger pattern where players increasingly prioritize fit and fulfillment. The narrative suggests that today's athletes are more aware of their value and less willing to remain in situations that do not align with their goals. Smith is portrayed as emblematic of this shift, a player who understands that success is not only measured by team outcomes, but by personal growth and satisfaction. The rumor frames his alleged feelings as thoughtful rather than impulsive, strategic rather than emotional. Fans and analysts alike begin to debate whether loyalty should outweigh personal vision or whether the two can coexist. This speculation does not accuse anyone of failure, but instead highlights the complexity of elite collaboration. It suggests that even talented partnerships require constant recalibration. When that recalibration stalls, questions naturally arise. Smith's rumored position becomes a symbol of a deeper conversation about agency, communication, and ambition within sport. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.